That's not. One.
Hello, this is Llama here. Can I do a sound check first of all? One of the moderators let me know if they can hear my voice and the sound quality is good or not, please. Can you hear me fine? Good, thank you. Thank you for people's patience. I had to restart the stream a couple of times because I had a technical problem with the sound. I hope the sound's working fine now. Thank you in advance to those that I've designated as mods. Any of those that are currently designated as mods and don't want to be act as mods on this particular stream, can you just let me know? And I'll take you off as a mod if you don't want to be one. If there's any technical problems that you experience during the stream, such as the sound, can any of the mods let me know during the chat at any time? But only the mods. Thank you for those that are watching and are in chat maybe. As I say, sorry about the technical problems that I had earlier, but I think the sound is fixed now. Just some ground rules to go through. This is some instructions, please, for the moderators. If you see any threats of violence in the chat, please screenshot it and immediately delete the chat, the comment, and remove the person from the chat if you see any threats of violence. If you see any other inappropriate comments, such as trying to put any kind of personal information about anyone, please immediately screenshot it and please immediately ban that person from the chat. Other than that, I don't require the mods to do anything else, but what I would like the mods to do, the following people are banned from this chat. So if the moderators see any of the following people in the chat, please ban them immediately. First of all, any moderators on Eileen Strong's channel are banned from this chat. That includes Eileen Strong herself. They couldn't behave themselves the other day and abide by the ground rules, so they're not permitted on this chat. So, as I say, any moderators or Eileen Strong from her channel are not permitted in this chat. Immediately kick them out, figuratively. Any other regular members of Eileen Strong's channel, you can kick them out as well, because a lot of them didn't behave either the other day, so they're not allowed in. Any moderators on GS Simon Paranormal's channel, they're not allowed to be in the chat either, any of his moderators. You can chuck them out as well. Although, as they're the same people as a lot of the moderators in Eileen Strong's channel, is essentially the same people, I would imagine. Anyone you recognise as a regular on GS Paranormal's channel, in his chats, you can kick them out as well. They're not permitted in the chat either. If GS Paranormal Simon wants to chat, he's permitted to chat at any time. If GS Paranormal Simon wants to talk in the chat, I'm allowing him to chat. In principle, he can chat at any time. So please do not moderate anything he says, or do not restrict him. The only exception to that is if anyone makes any threats of violence, immediately please someone screenshot it and you can kick them out straight away. You don't need to refer to me. And if you see anyone giving out any personal information about anyone, you can screenshot that and you can kick them out too. Also banned from this chat is anyone who's currently banned from Nicky News channel. You can kick them out as well. If you've seen them, just kick them out. You don't need to consult me, you can just do it. Other than that, I will moderate the chat. Other than you having to do those things, I'll moderate the chat verbally otherwise. So thank you very much to the mods, and thank you for any of those that are watching and have listened to the ground rules. The ground rules for this stream are similar to last time. I don't want any chat other than maybe the moderators. The moderators can chat, but other than that, I don't want any other chat in the chat room apart from moderators for the duration of my statement, unless it's GS Paranormal Simon himself. Once I finish my statement, then I will go into a phase where I will allow general chat, and I will allow any questions and answers. And in principle, I will allow anyone to speak in the chat there, except for the people that I've mentioned already who are not permitted in this chat. To remind you, the people who are not allowed in this chat is Eileen Strong, any of Eileen Strong's moderators, anyone you think is a regular on her channel, they're banned from this chat. Also banned from this chat is Major Long Sausage. If he appears, you can kick him out straight away. He doesn't allow me to speak. He likes to enjoy stopping my freedom of speech and right to reply, so he gets no right to comment in this chat. So if any moderator sees Major Long Sausage, you can kick him out straight away. Also banned any moderator on GS Paranormal's channel, on anyone you recognise as a regular in GS Paranormal's channel, you can kick them out as well. And anyone who's currently banned from Nicky News channel, you can kick them out too. Other than that, I don't require you you don't need to use your discretion in any other way. And I would ask that chat is kept to a minimum, and preferably I would just ask it to be moderators only, and GS Paranormal Simon, if he wants to chat, he can, if it's an appropriate time. And as I say, I will open it up later on to anyone in principle for any questions and answers or any general conversation, anything like that. Can one of the moderators let me know if the sound's still okay, please? Yes, third time lucky, I hope, with the sound. Thank you. I'm sorry about the previous 2 times. Thank you for those that have been patient. I had a problem with the sound. I had to restart my computer in the end, and that seemed to sort it out. So thanks for the patience. And if Nicky News watching, I have tried to get in contact with you, but it got to 8 o'clock and you weren't going live. Okay, I'll proceed now. This stream and this statement is entirely related to the channel of GS Paranormal Simon, and some of it is directly expressed towards Simon himself. And at some point during the statement, I will have 2 offers to make to GS Paranormal Simon, 2 offers or 2 challenges, and I'll get round to those later on. And I hope that when this video ends and it's saved, that somehow this video will get to his attention, because there will be stuff in here that's directly relevant to him, and I will have 2 offers or 2 challenges to put to him directly. The general theme of this stream continues on that I've covered in my last 1 or 2 live broadcasts, which is about acceptable behaviour and what is not acceptable behaviour and standards of decency. In my long live stream, one of the themes, as I say, was about behaviour that's just simply not decent or acceptable. And this is relevant to the channel of GS Paranormal Simon, both in respect of his own behaviour and in respect to the people who, or some of the people who attend his channel on a regular basis. In particular, I'll be touching on things that he's directed at me in the past, and I want to start by referring to something I found out about yesterday evening. I encountered a video on a channel I won't name, rather by luck, where my channel name was mentioned. And according to this person, I'm going to be unbanned from GS Simon's channel. I don't know how true this is or not, but that's what I heard them say. And the person in this, who this channel belongs to that I'm alluding to, mentioned me in her video. Yes, I mentioned that she's a she, but I'm not going to say what her name is or what her channel name is. And if she's watching, I've made a video already this evening addressing you. And I set out some things in there, and I have tried to contact you, and my email address is on my channel, and I have had some minimal communication with you so far directly on one of your videos, and I would ask you please to refer to my last live stream of today, the proper one, not one of the attempted ones. And I would like the opportunity with this person to be able to engage in a reasonable and decent dialogue privately and directly with her online, to have a dialogue with her to ascertain exactly what her problem is with me. And maybe I might be able to enlighten her on certain things, because from what this person said so far, I don't think she's very well informed with respect. Anyway, going back to the issue that apparently I'm going to be unbanned from GS Paranormal Simon, I'll just refer to him as Simon for the rest of this statement. Regarding this news that I'm going to be unbanned from his channel, that I've indirectly received unofficially, my statement on that is as follows. The person in the video that I just alluded to said that I was going to be unbanned. This is news to me. I've never heard of this before. Apparently they said this a number of days ago. I only saw their video yesterday. Complete news to me. And the idea that I would be interested in going back on Simon's channel is a joke. Anyone who knows anything about what's going on should know that they would think that I would have no interest in going back on his channel. I haven't been on his channel for a very long time. I don't engage with his channel in any way. I think this is the first time I've ever made a video related to him or his channel. And it may well be the last. I don't know. But if someone thinks that I've got a genuine interest in going back on his channel, they're not very well informed, and they don't know very much about the situation. But it's a ridiculous idea that I would in any way have any interest to go back on his channel. and I will expand on why that might be the case. Can one of the mods let me know if the sound is still okay, please? Thank you. So I have been banned from GS Simon's channel for quite a long time, and I have zero interest in going back there, and there's a whole host of reasons why that would be the case. So the idea that I would have any genuine interest in going back there is absolutely laughable. Let's maybe talk about some of the reasons that might be the case. Number one reason, not in no particular order. First reason, though, is because of a number of people on his channel, many of whom are moderators, who are the same people who are on Eileen Strong's channel, who are people that I would have no interest in engaging with or associating with. I think most, if not all, of Simon's moderators are people from Eileen's channel, Eileen Strong's channel, and are indeed moderators on that channel. And one of his moderators, I think, is Eileen Strong herself. So to think that I would want to engage in his live chat with those people is absurd. That's one reason, for example, why I would never be interested in going back there, because the people that he has to help him run his channel and who dominate his live chat, it would be pointless. I would have no interest in wanting to engage with any of those people. And a number of the people who are moderators on his channel, some of them are the same people that I referred to in my live I did a few days ago for 5 hours. Some of them are the same people who are involved either in making threats of violence towards me, and they're involved in trying to do other harassment activity that is illegal, is criminally illegal, and which they perpetually do. I'm talking generally here. I'm not saying they do it on Simon's channel, but they do it in various places, including on Eileen Strong's channel. And there's been occasions where they have actually done it on Simon's channel as well. And the activity that they've done is activity that potentially, with the information that they're trying to distribute, might, for example, threaten my personal security or that of my household or that of my family, and is an attempt to distribute information that is private and personal and has no business being in the public domain. And whatever excuses they may try to make up as to why they think it might be possible, I can assure them that they're wrong, and that I suggest that I know more about the law on that issue than they probably do, if that's what they think. And as I said in the stream I did a couple of days ago, I repeat, this is the final warning to address some of the people in Simon's channel. If you continue to engage, wherever it occurs, in activity that is criminal harassment, I'm referring to threatening language, threats of violence, and a thing that I've just referred to. I'm not referring to subjective issues of what might be harassment or what might be bullying or just nasty behaviour or nasty comments. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about stuff that's undeniably criminal harassment and illegal. Because many of the people who are the worst perpetrators on Eileen Strong's channel are also on GS Paranormal's channel and are moderators often on his channel and that has been the case for a very long time. And although some of this activity may mostly not occur on Simon's channel, there's been occasions where I have seen it occur on his channel. So I want to make it very clear. If I see a single incident of that occurring again, I will go to the police. I don't care where it happens or who does it. If I see another incident such as that again, I will go to the police. It's quite simple. And I have evidence against these people. And in many cases, I know who these people are. And if I don't know who these people are, I know other people who will know how to get their details. And so when I inform the police, if this ever occurs, it won't just be the selective person who just did it that gets informed to the police. It will be all of the people that regularly engage in doing it, because they act in coordination with one another. They communicate behind the scenes because presumably they're exchanging information with one another, information which they, if they believe that it relates to me, whether it does or whether it doesn't is irrelevant, but the intention is there. Even to attempt to get that information for the purpose that they're using it is illegal. And there's various laws. You can kick out Ready Freddy. He's already banned on news channel. You can kick him out, please. If you find it boring, you can go away. It's quite possible that Ready Freddy is a sock puppet name alias for one of the people that I've just been talking about. So if I see one more instance of what I've just referred to, I will go to the police, and it will not just be the one person that just did it. It will be the whole lot of you. All of the people that are regularly engaged in that activity, all of you will get informed to the police at the same time. And that will include Eileen Strong. And if I think that GS Simon is involved in it, well, as well, implicitly or otherwise, he will be informed to the police too. Because it's the same people that he has running his channel as moderators as Eileen does, who in many cases are the prime culprits of this activity. And they do it under their own usernames, and I suspect they do it under other usernames as well. I'm not going to expand on that point, but I suspect that they do, and I have reasons for them thinking that. But in many cases, they do it under their own names. And I don't care what name does it, whether it's one of their usual names or someone else. If I see someone else do it, I'll also inform all those other people to the police, because they've been involved in it before, and it's likely that they are the same people, and they are the same group of people giving information to each other. And I know that these people, I've seen these people do it, I have evidence that they've done it, and I know that some of these people are implicated. And that will include Eileen Strong, because she's either implicitly been involved, complicitly been involved, or sometimes she may even have explicitly done it herself. And I don't care what any of these people want to argue, or what grounds they might want to put forward as to why it doesn't represent criminal harassment. I know what I know. I don't care what you think. I will go to the police. One more thing. One more instance. I will go to the police. And it will be all of you that I inform to them, because one of you are involved together. You're complicit together in doing it. Another person who will get informed if I see it happen again will be Major Long Sausage. And he knows very well why I might inform him to the police. I won't expand on that point, but he will know what I'm referring to, and he will know why I will give his name to the police as well. I'm not going to expand on that point. and I haven't alleged anything there regarding him. But what I'm saying is, if this happens again, I will give his details as well to the police. It'll be the whole lot of you. And I know many of your details. And as I said in my stream the other day, explicitly, the only reason why I might have any of your details is to give to the police. Can someone let me know whether the sound is still okay? Can one of the mods let me know if the sound's okay, please? Thank you. Now, getting back more directly to Simon, I'll just refer to him as Simon. I know it's not his real name, but I'll just refer to him as that because that's the name he's commonly referred to as. If this video causes you to want to do videos about me, whatever, but I'll make it very clear. If you create any videos about me that engage in similar activity to what I've just referred to, I will go to the police straight away with your details. And if I see it occur on your channel, I'll be giving your details to the police as well, whether you did it or not. If it's someone in your channel that does it, it's the same group of people concerned. And so I will give your details to the police. Whether I've got any proof that you're directly involved or not, I don't care. I will give anyone that I suspect as being involved to the police. And if you wish to make videos about me, and you think you're going to be clever and try and put out information there about me, whether it's anything about my identity, any personal or private details about me, any images about me, anything like that, if you do anything like that, I will go to the police straight away. That is a promise. And there are many people who may watch this video or find out about this video who will absolutely be very keen to see the police get involved with you, Simon, and any full force of the law coming down on you, whether that's for criminal reasons or for civil reasons. I'm sure there are many people out there who would love to see you in court for doing something wrong. I'm not saying yet whether you have done something wrong or not, but if you do, and if you do anything directly that's illegal in relation to me, I will take you to court, whether that's a civil prosecution or a criminal prosecution with the police involved, depending on what it may or may not be. So this is a forewarning to you, Simon, because I know the sort of videos you like to do. If you make any videos about me that in any way disclose any personal information about me of any kind, I don't care what rationale you might give to why you think it may or may not be okay. I can assure you it's not. So try me. If you make a single video about me or that I think you're involved in one, I will go to the police straight away. I will give them your details and I will corroborate with other people if I need to do so to get your details to give to the police. So I suggest that you think extremely carefully if you want to make a video about me on any issue, about how you approach it, especially as when you make a lot of your videos, you're not entirely sober. So you should be very careful about what you do and what you say. This is a forewarning to you because I know the sort of things that you get up to and what you do. So this is a forewarning. There will be no chance, second chance, one step out of line in any of these things that I've been referring to, I will go to the police. And I'm sure there's lots of people who may know about, who may watch this video, who will be very pleased to see you getting involved with the police. I'm not making any threat against you. I'm not intimidating you. I'm not making any threat of violence towards you. All I'm saying is, if you are involved, or I suspect you are involved in any form of criminal harassment towards me, I will go to the police straight away. The operative word is if you go and do anything like that. Because I was said in my video the other day, I'm operating a zero tolerance policy on this now. People have had multiple warnings. This is the final warning, and this is your only forewarning. There'll be no other warning. I'll go straight to the police, Simon. Now, Simon, if you want to contact me, you can do so by email. My email address is stated on my channel. If for any reason you want to contact me, the way to contact me is by email. If there's something in this video you want to discuss with me, email me. That's the only way I want to hear from you, is that you email me. No other form of communication. I want you to email me only. I'm not asking you to email me, but if you wish to contact me and discuss anything I say in this video, the method I want you to use is email. So other reasons why I do not want to engage with you or your channel, even if I was unbanned, I've mentioned about the moderators and some of the people on your channel who have been engaged in activity towards me on a prolonged basis of in excess of 2 months. Some of the ways that those people on your channel who are regulars and many who are moderators is similar to some of the activity that I called out the other day about Eileen Strong's channel. In many cases, it's exactly the same people. And in some of the cases, the way they conduct themselves and things they write are disgusting. And there's no way I would want to engage in a channel like that, which you run. Now, a lot of time, I don't think you pay attention to the chat that goes on in your live stream for whatever reasons. I don't care. If I see anything in your live chat, there's anything under the grounds that I've just been talking about, I'll go to the police about them. And if it occurs in your channel, that implicates you as well. And the police can find out whether or not you're involved. I'll leave that to the police. So I suggest, if you want to make any videos mentioning me, whether that's recorded or live, you step very, very carefully, because I will not tolerate any nonsense. And certainly not from you. Why? For a number of reasons. Although I've been banned from your channel for a long time, that doesn't stop you periodically from foul-mouthing me with abuse, personal insults, etc., even though I've done nothing to provoke or trigger you to do so. The only trigger seems to be that you're not entirely sober. How sober or not you may be, I don't care. That's not an excuse for some of the things you say and conduct yourself. As an example, it's just one. There was the time when you appeared to be rather drunk. The stream went on for many hours because you didn't turn it off. And you appeared to be legless and on the floor. And during that broadcast, not long before you fell on the floor, you were foul-mouthing me, insulting me, using foul and abusive language, etc. And that's not the first time you've done that towards me. Now, have you ever given me a direct personal apology? The answer to that is no. You've never given me any direct contact to apologise for anything you've ever done regard to me. So for someone to think that I'd want to go back on your channel is a joke. Whoever thinks that I would want to go back on your channel clearly knows very little, and they should inform themselves a lot better. I would never want to be back on your channel, Simon. It's a long time since I was there, and I have no genuine interest in being back on your channel for various reasons. Some of the conduct that you show in your live streams is disgusting. Now, I will give balance to this as well. There's some times when you can be quite reasonable, especially when you're more sober. And some of the video content that you do is genuinely good. And sometimes it's also amusing. So I'm giving balance here. But a lot of the time, you get into the realms of really nasty behaviour. And I've given one example, and I'm talking about stuff you've done to me. You love calling people a twat. I'm not going to go into all the personal foul abuse you've directed at me over the last 2 to 3 months. And this is the first time I think I've ever made a video referencing you. And I don't really want to do another one because you're just simply not the sort of person that I want to engage with. And then, of course, we've had this incident that occurred not so long ago, about a week ago or less, where you showed these 3 t-shirts that you were very happy and amused with. 3 t-shirts relating to Mark Smith and PXTV, which you introduced as not being made by you, but by someone else who sent you them. And the 3rd t-shirt you showed, which you said, to paraphrase you were very proud of, or you were proud to be wearing, and I think you said words to the effect that it was your favourite one of the 3. And the people in your chat were lapping it up and laughing at it. And that 3rd t-shirt was absolutely disgusting. You should feel ashamed of yourself. And so should anyone else in your chat or involved in your channel who thinks that that was acceptable or funny or okay. Because you and I both make videos about Mark Smith, PXTV, and other paranormal channels. And when things get into the realm of genuine commentary and critique and review and criticism, that's fine. You've been involved in it for a long time. Another channel is Ghost Informer. There's others. I've done some. And if it wasn't for a lot of the trouble that I've received from certain other channels, having to make videos just to defend myself, I would have made even more videos about Mark Smith. And I'm going to continue to make videos about Mark Smith. I already have some in production, and I'll be making more. But the issue is that there's certain behaviour that's well beyond the realm of just reasonable free speech and fair critique and review and criticism. And that t-shirt was absolutely disgusting. And one of the reasons I've done doing this live rather than bother doing it recorded is I'm not going to bother showing an image of that t-shirt, because if I did, you or someone might try to make some ridiculous, bogus copyright claim. So I won't. But what I will do is I'll describe it and I'll express where people can go and they can find and see it if they want to see it. Can one of the mods let me know, is the sound still okay? And when you were showing this 3rd t-shirt, numerous people in your chat were loving it and thought it was really funny and it was okay and acceptable. But it's not. It was absolutely disgusting. And one of the things you said in that video was that you were talking about how people use hate. And actually, I agree with you. The word hate about, oh, this is what someone's doing is hate, or a video is hate. The word hate is massively overused. I agree with you on that. And a much better word to use is dislike. But that t-shirt, I would say, is hateful. At best, it was supremely bad taste. At worst, it was hateful. Let's go through the reasons why and about describing that t-shirt that you were so proud to wear. The 3rd t-shirt that I'm referring to, at the top it said PXTV in bold red text. The image was in a vertical portrait format. On the image were 3 skeletons, and the 3 skeletons were holding what would appear to be a human body wrapped up in black material, being placed by the 3 skeletons into an open coffin. The other words on the t-shirt said RIP, rest in peace, and below that it said Mark Smith. And the RIP and the Mark Smith were closer together than the RIP to the PXTV was. And the RIP and the Mark Smith were both in white rather than red, and they were in a different font or typeface. So it was clearly saying RIP Mark Smith. And when you described and showed the t-shirt, Simon, you actually said it says RIP, rest in peace, Mark Smith. And you went further than that. You actually, to paraphrase you, you said that the body, or referring to the body, was Mark Smith being placed in the coffin. Yes, I'm paraphrasing what he said, but he did actually describe it. So if someone wants to say, oh no, it was rest in peace PXTV, no, it wasn't. It was rest in peace Mark Smith. And yes, I've made videos about Mark Smith, and I'll continue to. But that is well beyond acceptable behaviour. I don't know legally where it stands, but in terms of just common human decency, it was disgusting. You should be ashamed of yourself. Not only should you be ashamed of yourself, so should the person who made it and who sent them to you, who you mentioned in your video. If anyone wants to find out who it is who made it, they can go and see your video, because you mentioned them. Not only did you wear the t-shirt, you promoted the t-shirt and told people where they could find one. So you endorsed it, as well as saying that you're very proud to wear it, and you thought it was funny, and you thought it was the best one of the 3. It was sick. The implication of the t-shirt is that you want Mark Smith to be rest in peace. In other words, you want Mark Smith to be dead. If that isn't hateful, I don't know what is. That is the clear implication of that t-shirt. People can make up whatever excuses they want to interpret a different way, but if that t-shirt was shown in a court of law, there's no doubt that that is the interpretation that would be given and found by a jury. If it got into the realms of that, I don't know. Exactly what the legal situation is concerning that t-shirt, I don't know. But it was hateful, because the implication of the t-shirt is you want Mark Smith to rest in peace. And you said yourself that the body being depicted wrapped up, what appeared to be a humanoid person wrapped up in black material being placed into a coffin, you actually said, to paraphrase you, this is Mark Smith being placed into the coffin. Which is, regardless of what people think of Mark Smith and his work and his videos and PXTV, that is absolutely disgusting. So on that issue, I support Mark Smith on that issue. It was disgusting. The people who are involved in producing it and displaying it and promoting it should be disgusted and ashamed of themselves. And anyone else on GS Paranormal's channel who were there at the time and think it was funny or okay or acceptable, such as Major Long Sausage, who wrote "pissing myself laughing" in abbreviations with lots of laughing faces when the 3rd t-shirt appeared, should equally be ashamed. He's not the only person, there are others. I'm just mentioning him as an example. By the way, Major Long Sausage is a libeller of me, and I've demonstrated that he's libelled me because I made a video on it. So if anyone wants to libel me or slander me or defame me, they better be very careful, because I'm quite prepared to take civil action against any of these people. And that includes you, Simon. So again, this is another forewarning. And I also have an extent of legal background, of legal training. And if I wanted to take legal action against these people as a private prosecution, I wouldn't even need to involve a solicitor. I could do it myself. So, Simon, you're not dealing with Maverick now, or Mark Smith. You're dealing with me. And so are the other people who are your mates and channel friends. If they want to get involved in libel or defamation or slander, it's me they're going to have to deal with, not Maverick. If they're going to defame me or slander me or libel me, it will be me. And I can assure you, I'll tell you how to deal with it in a much better way than Maverick has. So you're dealing with someone else. And I won't take any shit. And you're a disgrace, Simon. An absolute disgrace. What you did with that t-shirt is disgraceful. You should be absolutely ashamed. Someone of your age, there's no excuse. And everyone in your channel who thought that was funny and acceptable, the same applies to them. You're a disgrace. You should be ashamed of yourselves. And anyone else who's a supporter on your channel and who regularly goes in your chat or continues to do so or continues to say that they support you, again, they should feel ashamed and disgraceful. It's absolutely disgusting. Because the clear implication of that t-shirt is a hateful one, that you want that person dead. There's no other viable interpretation or spin that can be given to it. And if it turns out that it's illegal in some way, I hope someone takes legal action against you. I really do. Because as I said in my video the other day, I'm standing up to certain behaviour that's disgusting. No to bullies. No to disgusting behaviour. It's just absolutely not tolerable. What do you think of the children of Mark Smith? He has a number of children. So you wish that the father of these 4 or 5, how many children he's got, you wish their father to be dead. That's the implication of what you're saying with that t-shirt. Whoever made the t-shirt, whoever wears the t-shirt, whoever promotes the t-shirt, whoever endorses it, or thinks that it's okay or acceptable or funny, the implication is that you want Mark Smith's children to not have a father. Yes, that is the implication of what that t-shirt is about. And if you support that t-shirt, or you support Simon, then the same applies to you. You think that you want Mark Smith dead, and you want his children not to have a father. That is the logical interpretation of what that t-shirt is saying. And I would say that's hateful. And it's beyond bad taste. It's worse than that. So if Mark Smith ever listens to this video or encounters it, I support Mark Smith on the issue of that t-shirt because it was absolutely disgusting. And the people who think it's okay are low grade. If you think that's acceptable, you're a low grade person. That's your conduct indicates that. Whoever thinks that t-shirt is okay, whoever thinks that okay, it shows that you're a really low grade person with really low grade morals and ethics. Absolute disgrace. And you should be ashamed of yourself, all of you who think that t-shirt's okay. And maybe you're going background giggling away about the t-shirt, you're thinking you like it and hearing what I'm saying. Shame on you. You're a disgrace, the whole lot of you who feel that way, that t-shirt's acceptable. Because the implication is that you want Mark Smith to be dead and you want his children not to have a father. How would you feel if someone made a t-shirt about you like that, showing you as the person that they wanted to be dead? Please, can you kick R.A. Davis out? I'm talking about a conduct that's relevant to this online community. I'm talking about why I would have no interest on being on GS Simon's channel because someone has made a video suggesting that I'm going to be unbanned from his channel and that I'm going to be returning to his channel. So just think how you would feel if someone made a t-shirt like that about you or about your father and you were a child and someone made a t-shirt about you like that. It's disgusting. So in terms of my channel, however tiny my channel is, anyone who supports GS Simon, anyone who's a regular member on his chat, or is a moderator on his chat, or appears in his chat, you are permanently banned from this channel. You may not give a jot about that, but the stand I'm making is that those people, I would have no interest on being involved in my channel. So anyone involved in GS's channel, you're permanently blocked from my channel. I can't stop you watching my videos, but I'd like to know this. If you find anything entertaining about my videos or informative or interesting or amusing or anything like that, I don't want you to benefit from any of those feelings. And if you do ever watch any of my videos, I want you to have the mental image in your head of that t-shirt that Simon was wearing and what that t-shirt depicts and what the meaning of that t-shirt is. So if you ever see any of my videos, I want you to have the mental image in your head of Simon's t-shirt and reflect on how that makes you feel. So anyone who's currently a moderator on GS's channel, they're blocked from my channel. GS Paranormal is blocked from my channel, by implication, obviously, but not at the moment. If you want to appear in this chat live now, you can. And anyone who's a regular attendee or does attend your channel in future, consider themselves your banned from my channel. My channel is only tiny, whatever, but I don't want anything to do with you whatsoever. I don't want you commenting on my videos or anything like that. You're sick people. Absolutely despicable that if you think that's acceptable behaviour. You're sick. It's one thing making fair criticism and freedom of speech and opinion and review and critique and commentary and analysis of Mark Smith and his PXTV videos, which I do myself, and I openly express that, and I will be making more videos about him. But that is entirely unacceptable. Now, let's go back directly more to Simon and about why I would not want to be on his channel. I've mentioned about the t-shirt, but I'm also referred to activity that's been going on much longer in times why I would not want to engage, because of some of the people that he has on there, what they do, and the way he conducts himself as well, and the things he said about me, which he's never apologised to me for. Certainly never directly apologised to me. He's made completely unprovoked, foul, abusive attacks on me. And whether he was sober or not, I don't care. Now, Simon, I've got 2 offers or challenges to give to you now. So if you get this video or one of your friends tells you about this video, I hope you listen carefully. Here's 2 offers for you. One of the things you love to say is that you're far more intelligent than me. You've said it a number of times. You say that you're far more intelligent than me. Here's the first offer, Simon. Here's the first challenge to you. I bet you £1,000 that you're not more intelligent than me. Right? That's the first offer or challenge. I bet you £1,000 that you're not more intelligent than me. And what I propose is that we both have an IQ test. You take your own IQ test, I take mine. We agree on a ground rules for the proceedings, We agree on an independent third party. We provide our IQ tests to this whoever the third party is. They retain £1,000 from both of us. And whoever, according to the IQ test, has the higher IQ will win the bet. This is all subject to agreeing various terms with one another. So if you want to take me up on this in principle, Simon, my first challenge or offer to you is £1,000 bet that whoever has the highest IQ on a formal IQ test undertaken by a qualified person wins the whole pot of £2,000. And if I win the bet, the £1,000 that I get from you, I will give to a suitable cause, either charity, or I may give it to someone, if someone is taking a prosecution against you for some reason. If that ever occurs, I'll give £1,000 to their legal fees for them to prosecute you. Or I may give £1,000 to Ghosts of Britain as their reward, to increase their reward money to find out who wrote this book about them that's allegedly libelous. So if I win the bet, Simon, the £1,000 that I get from you, I'll give to one of those causes. So if you want to continue saying about me that you're far more intelligent than me, or worse to those effect, put up or shut up. We both do an IQ test. Whoever gets the highest IQ wins the bet. Subject to ironing out all various rules, etc. If you want to take me up on that, email me. My email is on my channel. That's the first offer or challenge, Simon. Put up or shut up. If you're the one who likes to say you're more intelligent than me, we'll do the IQ test. We'll do it on that basis. Now, let's come to the second challenge or offer. You regularly like to say about me that you would rip me apart, or words very much to those effect, that you would rip me apart. I think you mean figuratively rather than literally. Let's go with you mean it literally, you'd rip me apart. I don't know whether you mean intellectually or in terms of debate. I don't know. But whatever it is you mean by that, assuming you mean it figuratively, here's the second offer or challenge. You've never given me the chance to engage with you because you ban me. Your mods just ban people and you never read the chat barely anyway. So if you want to engage with me and you want to attempt to rip me apart, here's the second offer, Simon. Here's the second challenge. You and me, head to head, some kind of intellectual debate of some kind, you attempting to rip me apart. And the people who watch it can be the judge as whether you rip me apart or not. So here's what the ground rules would be. We do this head-to-head online, at a distance, online in some form of live chat of some kind. No one else involved, just you and me, not physically present, on the internet at a distance. You and me. And you can demonstrate, or otherwise, whether or not you can rip me apart, whatever it is you mean by that as a figurative statement. And we'll see whether you can rip me apart or not. And if you want to do that, again, the second offer is that you email me and we'll arrange it. To be clear, I'm talking about an online, distance, head-to-head. I'm not talking about being together or anything like that. I'm not talking about anything physical, to be quite clear, so it can't be misconstrued. And you, with whatever you mean by rip me apart, I presume you mean in some sort of debate or argument or something like that. Have a go in that respect. And the people who watch it can make their own minds up about whether you have ripped me apart or not. That's the second challenge. Of course, it will be subject to certain ground rules to be mutually agreed, the same as the first offer. That's my offer to you. And if you're not prepared to do that, this is a one-time offer that I'll engage with you directly. And if you're not prepared to take me up on it, then you can shut up. Put up or shut up is the theme here. And in relation to you supposedly being far more intelligent than me, as you often have said, you like to insist, and you're extremely adamant in one of your streams, that Anglo-Saxon Britain chronologically occurred before Roman Britain, and you're most adamant about it. Well, you're wrong. And if that's the indication of your intelligence, then I suggest that you're likely to lose the IQ bet. But the offer's out there still. Won't be a general knowledge quiz though, or history quiz, it'll be an IQ test. But just as a basis, and one of the things that you like to make out that you're far more intelligent than me, you repeated in one of your streams repeatedly, and were insistent, that Anglo-Saxon Britain chronologically occurred before Roman Britain. That's right. That's how smart you are. That's how knowledgeable you are. That's how intelligent you are, as an example. So let's use what might be considered a fairly objective measure, which is an IQ test. And we'll see who's got the highest IQ. And I bet you £1,000 that you're not more intelligent than me, that you don't have a higher IQ than me. And if you're not prepared to take me up on those challenges, then you should just shut up, because you're full of crap. That's the two offers. If you want any clarification about the two offers, email me and we can discuss it by email. I never want to meet you in person. I'll make that very clear. I'm saying that we deal with these things online at a distance. There's no need for us to ever meet. I don't want to meet you. And there are the two challenges. Because these are the things you often like to say. You like to call me a twat, a twat. You like to call everyone a twat, don't you? It's all a load of abuse. Effing this, effing that, effing blinding me at this, calling me X, Y, Z. Well, and then falling on the floor on occasion. I don't care whether you're sober or drunk, you still did these things. So you're still responsible. But I think this is the first time I've ever done a video about you at all. You've talked about me numerous times on various of your videos or live streams. And I've never had the right to reply because I'm banned from your channel. No, I don't want to be. I'm banned from your channel. I don't want to appear on your channel. I've given you the terms of engagement. A bet about who's got the highest IQ. And a head-to-head debate of some kind where you tried to rip me apart, quote, as you like to say about me. That's the two challenges. You are banned from my channel, except if you wish to appear in the live chat now. If you're prepared to behave yourself and behave in a reasonable way, I'll let you talk. But none of else of the other people I've mentioned are allowed to talk in the chat. So I think I've covered everything that I wanted to talk about in relation to Simon. Really don't have that much to say about him other than what I have, because he's just not worth it. But your behaviour with that t-shirt needs to be called out, and I needed to clarify that I have no desire to be on your channel. And any suggestion that I wanted to is ridiculous, and I don't want to be associated with your channel anyway at all. So I just wish to clarify that as someone wanted to make a video suggesting I was going to be on your channel. They've got to be joking. They don't know very much, do they? Now, I'm prepared now to open up the room to chat. Any questions? We can do a Q&A. You can express an opinion. We can have a little conversation. and we'll say maybe for the next 20 minutes at most. So anyone who's watching, if you want to contribute in the chat now, you're welcome, provided you're prepared to do it in a reasonable manner and language. Can one of the mods let me know whether the whether the sound's still okay, please? Thank you. Okay. Is there anyone who wants to express anything or ask me a question, or whether they want to seek any clarifications about anything that I've said? Here's the opportunity for anyone, other than those that are banned for good reason. And I would encourage anyone who's watching this video or watches it on replay to go and watch also the video that I made a couple of days ago that was a nearly 5-hour-long live stream, because it touches on a lot of the general issues. Subdactic, I have to concede that I'm not clear what is you're referring to, so I admit my ignorance on that. I've been engaged in other things this afternoon. I haven't been following any news that have occurred today. But regardless of what may or may not occurred, the T-shirt stands on its own grounds. Soldaptic, can you elaborate on why you think it's very poor taste? Because I openly admit I'm ignorant of what it is you're alluding to. The video is titled that it's going to be about GS Simon. It's not a video about current affairs. But I appreciate if there's a taste issue. Okay, yeah, I've just looked at the BBC website. So, if anything, doesn't this bring home the issue of what that T-shirt is about? The T-shirt is essentially wishing that someone is dead. So doesn't that really bring home how sick that T-shirt is? Because it brings home the issue of what it actually means, which is someone dying. So, if anything, the issues that have occurred today, this major incident in a supposed terrorist attack, I don't know the details, so I'm just using that terminology, brings home what this T-shirt is actually about, which is insinuating that you would like this person to be dead. So it only really brings home what this T-shirt means. So, would you like to elaborate on why you think it's such bad taste? I have just put the news on. I've just put the BBC website on and just saying what it is you're alluding to. I haven't seen the news today. I've been doing other things. But I don't really see why it's particularly bad taste. I mean, what am I supposed to do? Not make any videos? Not comment on anything else? I'm referring to hateful behaviour, I would say that terrorist activity is hateful. Not that I'm in any way putting them in the same category of severity. But if terrorist activity is deemed to be in some way hateful, I would say this T-shirt is also hateful in some way. But I would make it clear I'm not putting them in the same realms of severity in any way whatsoever. Michelle, I'm not. The issue is that I'm not giving them a chance. They're banned from my channel, and I'm setting out what is acceptable behaviour, and I'm standing up against some of the activity that occurs and saying what is beyond the realm of decency. And I'm not giving people chances. I'm saying that in relation to certain activity, this is the absolutely final warning. If it continues, I will go to the police. I mean, what is the distasteful issue? That I've broadcasted at all, or that I broadcasted on one issue relates to death? I think that just brings home how sick this T-shirt is, because that's what the T-shirt is about. It's about death. It's about an image of a body being placed into a coffin of a deceased body, and the body has the legend underneath it that it's R.I.P. Mark Smith. It says R.I.P. above the coffin, above the body, and then below it says Mark Smith. And the two R.I.P. and Mark Smith are written all in white text and all in the entirely the same font and the same typeface, whereas the PXTV at the top of the image is in a different typeface, or appears to be, is in all bold red letters. There's no ambiguity about what the T-shirt is about, and Simon himself said, I'm paraphrasing, this is Mark Smith being placed into a coffin. So anyone who thinks, no, it just means they want PXTV to rest in peace, well, that's not what the T-shirt depicts, or what it is. It has the legend on it of. And however you feel about PXTV, that T-shirt is just sick. No, again, I wasn't aware of it either, but I haven't been looking at the news very much today. I've been doing other things, so I'm not really sure why it's so bad taste. I think what's in bad taste is the T-shirt that I'm referring to is the bad taste that I'm criticising. Now you may say, well, it's not in the same realm of what's occurred in London. Well, maybe. So no, you're not blocked. No. I'm not trying to compare them at all. I didn't even bring it up. They're not similar in any way whatsoever. But I don't really see why it stops me from being able to talk about these issues. And the reason what's prompted me to talk about it today is that last night I found that someone was making a video suggesting that I was going back to Simon's channel. And then second on top of that was it's only recently that this T-shirt video has been made. So it's a contemporary topical issue. No, I understand, Bewitched. I wasn't directing that comment at you. I was just explaining. I mean, should I not make any videos today because of it? Should I not do anything else today? Why, you know? You think the T-shirt expresses the same sort of arguments that's made by MPs? They don't have to go to court. I don't quite understand your comments, so can you elaborate on what you mean by that? Because I don't quite understand what your point is. You're saying that are you trying to suggest that the T-shirt is the same as someone who's an MP expressing a view in the House of Commons? Is that what you're trying to say? Okay, you say that you think the T-shirt's bad taste. What do you mean it expresses the same sort of arguments that are made by MPs? They don't have to go to court. I don't quite know what you mean by that. When does an MP in the House of Commons say anything that indicates they want someone to be dead? I mean, I would say that was pretty hateful. But that's the implication of the T-shirt. I'm speaking out about disgusting behaviour, about hateful behaviour, about people who think disgusting things. If anything, someone can make an argument for the two to be related in some distant way. Distant being the operative word. Just to be clear, because someone will twist that I'm saying that they're similar. They're not similar. Have you heard the trap made by a rapper who used just language used by MPs in the House of Commons? No, I don't know what you're referring to, so I'm sure you could cut up anything of words that have been used and make them sound like anything. Would you vote for an MP who came to your door asking for your vote wearing that T-shirt? I am reading the comments. I don't need to read them all out. A lot of them stand on their own merits. People are expressing their points, and people can read them. Knife in the back is a figurative term. It's a figure of speech to mean someone who's been backstabbed in a figurative way. So are you saying? So what are you suggesting that the T-shirt depicts? You're saying that it doesn't depict Mark Smith being dead. What are you trying to express? Because it doesn't depict that he wants PXTV to be dead. That's not what the T-shirt shows. And I challenge anyone to make an argument to say to the contrary. In fact, Simon himself said this depicts the body of Mark Smith. I'm not saying verbatim what he said, but he said that this, pointing to the body, is Mark Smith, and it's being placed in a coffin, and it says "Rest in peace," and the body was held by 3 skeletons, and it was a coffin, so it was clearly about death. I mean, Mark Smith had a baby born this year, as a lot of people will know. You want that baby not to have a biological father? Is that what you're saying? How do you understand that T-shirt? What is the meaning of that T-shirt to you? What's your interpretation of that T-shirt? Yeah, I've just read Michelle's comments. I don't know the exact legality of that T-shirt in relation to either criminal law or civil law. I don't claim to know exactly where that would stand. But if Mark Smith has gone to the police about it, I wouldn't blame him at all. I don't know. I don't pretend to know exactly what it would represent. But just in terms of general behaviour, it was worse than bad taste. Terry says that she's not a Mark Smith fan, but it was very beyond distasteful. Exactly. Many of us are critical of Mark Smith, of his paranormal research, of his paranormal investigations in his videos, etc., including myself. But there's a certain kind of activity that's way beyond that, and it's just well acceptable practice. Sol says that it's run of the mill these days as a way things are expressed. I don't agree. I don't witness such a T-shirt. It's one of the most vile things I've ever seen. Sol says the T-shirt is bad taste. He could go to the police, but they wouldn't bother. But you don't think the police would bother about it if he informed the police? Well, let's see what transpires. I don't know whether he has or what the police would think about it. I would say it's pretty hateful. Regardless of the legalities of criminal law, I'm just saying that it's disgusting. Just based on any ethical, moral grounds of general decency, it's sick. And the people who think that it's okay and are proud to wear it or proud to laugh at it or be amused at it or made it or endorse it or wear it or boast about it should be ashamed of themselves. It's disgusting. And anyone who wants to be associated with GS Paranormal, whether they're moderator on his channel, regular attendees on his channel, whether they support him in some way, if they think that T-shirt is okay and they continue to support him, what does that say about those people? Elizabeth, the T-shirt depicts violence and death, and that is the worst form of bullying and abuse. It is run-of-the-mill Sol. If it is run-of-the-mill Sol, if I ever saw any of mine wearing anything like that, that she would disown them. I think Elizabeth and I are on the same. Sol says, I don't like Mark Smith at all, but I would not condone the shirt. Okay, so he doesn't condone the shirt. But these days on the street, you would see that stuff. Really? I've never seen such a T-shirt. What, so suppose there was a T-shirt made of, I don't know, a celebrity. So supposing there was a T-shirt that looked exactly the same, and it said R.I.P. in the name of the celebrity, and it was a humanoid figure wrapped up in black material being placed into a coffin, and the name of the person was a real person, a celebrity, for example, you think that would be okay? And that someone would be able to make that? How would people in this chat feel if it was a member of your family whose name was on that T-shirt who was being depicted? Because there's no ambiguity about who's being referred to. It says PXTV, Mark Smith. I mean, is the person who makes it or who wears it going to claim that it's not about PXTV Mark Smith? And it's just about someone else called Mark Smith? And it's not really anyone in particular called Mark Smith? Because if that's the case, why was GS Paranormal wearing it? What was the relevance of it? Are we going to have loads of ridiculous excuses trying to say why this T-shirt was okay and it didn't represent X, Y, Z? Such as, it means PXTV dead, not Mark Smith dead. Well, that's not what the T-shirt depicts. And I suggest that if there was ever a court case about that T-shirt, I don't think there'll be any ambiguity about how that T-shirt would be interpreted. in terms of a decision. So not okay, but in the real world it goes on. Well, does that make it okay? I don't really understand what your point is. Give me another example that's similar. So, can you think of another example that you think would be similar? Michelle says that she interprets it to be an actual death threat. See, I haven't gone as far as that, but some people might infer it in that way, or that it's inciting death. Some people might interpret it that way. Maybe if Mark Smith goes to the police, they might themselves suggest that it's inciting violence. I don't know. That's a legal issue for that particular incident. I'm not the police. I mean, no, so are you sort of saying it's not okay, but it's kind of okay because it's normal? What seems to be your argument? I mean, I'm asking you, can you give me another similar example of where you think that would be okay? And I said, suppose it was a celebrity, and such a T-shirt was made about a celebrity, for example, and you walk past someone in the street wearing a T-shirt like that about a well-known celebrity, would you think that was okay? I don't know where. Can't think that it's absolutely vile. Because no company, no business or company would make such a T-shirt, because the reputational damage would be huge. So no proper clothing manufacturer would ever make such a T-shirt, and no decent retailer would make such a T-shirt, because the reputational damage would be huge. So right, if the police won't turn up for a threat of rape, they won't bother with a T-shirt. Well, who says they don't turn up for a threat of rape? What do you mean they don't turn up for a threat of rape? If a threat of rape is made, that's clearly at least criminal harassment. I don't really follow what your argument you're trying to make, so. Seems to be that, well, it's not okay, but it's okay because it goes on. Well, no, because people need to stand out and say, this is not acceptable. Sol suggests that if he wore a T-shirt saying RIP in the name of a politician, that he wouldn't be arrested. I suggest that you probably would be if someone reported you, because it may constitute perhaps maybe some kind of, I don't know, maybe it's a hate crime. I don't know, I'm speculating. I don't pretend to be an expert on that aspect of law. I'm talking from the point of view of just what's decent, general common decency. It's clearly sick. Just on an ethical, moral basis. That's what I'm talking about. I haven't been focusing on the legal aspect of it. I'm talking about ethics and morals. Maybe Simon, if he wants to take me up on my second offer, where he wants to rip me apart, maybe we can discuss the morals and ethics of that T-shirt. Maybe that might be an interesting subject to address. And he can defend why he thinks that T-shirt's acceptable, and why he's so proud. He can explain why he's so proud to wear it and endorse it and publicise it, and to tell people where they can obtain one. I'm not just calling out Simon about it. I'm talking about the person who made it as well. And anyone who supports that T-shirt or thinks it's funny or acceptable, they're just as bad. Anyone who thinks that T-shirt is acceptable, is morally acceptable, you're just as bad as Simon. And therefore, anyone who participates on Simon's channel as a member, as a regular attendee on his channel, you're basically endorsing that t-shirt in a sense. And anyone who's a moderator on that channel, who continues to be a moderator on that channel, you're effectively endorsing it as well, because it reflects on you. You know, people should be careful about the sort of people they want to associate themselves with. But from what I saw in the chat, when that third t-shirt appeared, a number of people were lapping it up, thinking it was funny. Nothing funny about it. And if there's people in the background tittering away at me talking about this t-shirt, about how horrible it is, and you don't think it is, you're disgusting. And these are the sort of low-grade people that I don't want to associate with, and why I would not want to be involved, unbanned, on GS Paranormal's channel, which was one of the premises of the purpose of this video. And it's not just that reason why I don't want to be involved in his channel, but I've explained that. So it would be immoral, but who decides? Well, you set your own. You set your own moral compass. I'm suggesting that anyone with any decent morality would feel that that t-shirt was disgusting and unacceptable. That's what I'm suggesting. I'm twisting what you said. I'm happy for you to say what you want. If you think I've misrepresented you, I'm just trying to engage in a conversation with you. I know you said you don't condone the t-shirt. You're not saying it's okay. But then you did sort of say that you think that sort of thing goes on, and you think the police wouldn't do anything. Well, regardless of the legal issue, the t-shirt is immoral. Which says if she saw a loved one's face on that t-shirt, that she would consider it a threat. I mean, it should be said, there's no depiction of a face on the t-shirt, but there's a humanoid figure wrapped up, being placed into a coffin, and above it says RIP, and below it says Mark Smith. So who are the words referring to? And it's clearly a humanoid figure, and it's been placed into a human coffin. So if someone wants to say, oh, what's wrapped up in the black material isn't supposed to be a human body, they're talking crap. And I've said in my live stream that I did a few days ago, I would stand up and say about some of this activity and behaviour that's just way beyond the pale and is just, well, not acceptable at all. And this comes under that. So I'm calling that out. And I don't care if it's about Mark Smith. I don't care who it's about. It's disgusting. And I hope that people support Mark Smith in relation to that t-shirt. What I would say is that I know that Mark Smith did a video effectively responding to this t-shirt, and the way that he responded, I would have said, was very unwise. And I don't think he dealt with it in a very good way, because he was going on about meeting Simon, and I don't think that that was a very good thing to say or express, and could be missing. It wasn't clear exactly what he meant, so it means it could be interpreted in a certain way. So the way that Mark Smith reacted on his video was unwise. I would put it like that. If he said something else in another video since, I haven't seen it. So if I'm out of date on what's occurring, you know. Soul says, if you find it bad taste as I do, that is our problem. All we can do is say it offends us, which is what we have done. I know. But if in society there's certain general standards of behaviour, some of them are in law, and some of them are just general standards of what people consider to be ethical or moral, in terms of what is in some way decent or not. And therefore, if something occurs which people think isn't acceptable, then the best thing to do is speak up and say so that other people don't think that it's okay just because no one said anything. And this essentially is what part of this video is about. If something occurs that you consider to be unacceptable in an ethical or moral way, then there's no innocent bystander type argument. Soul says, if I put myself in the public eye, I would expect flack anyway. It wasn't about his kid. Well, maybe Mark Smith has a father or mother, and they find out about this T-shirt. It would be about their kid, wouldn't it? Yeah, he is in an extent in the public eye, yes, and he does get flack, and some of it, you know, I've made it clear. People can make criticism and critique and review, etc. But I'm suggesting that this T-shirt goes well beyond that. I mean, why would anyone even want to own or wear such a T-shirt? Where would you wear such a T-shirt? Just at home? So that you can show it on YouTube and giggle about it with your friends? Or would you go out and wear it? Would you go to a supermarket wearing that T-shirt? My issue isn't that someone gets flack for something, if it's legitimate and freedom of speech. I'm not trying to limit someone's freedom of speech or freedom of expression. But freedom of speech and freedom of expression doesn't mean you can just go and do anything. It's the issue of rights, but there are also responsibilities. And yes, you have the right of freedom of speech, but there's also responsibilities with that as well. It's like saying, if you have freedom of speech, that doesn't mean you can stand up in a cinema and say, well, there's a fire, when there isn't, and it might cause a panic and people might get trampled on and die. That doesn't mean it's okay to stand up in a cinema or some other public building that's packed with people and make out there's some emergency that might end up people getting injured or die. All rights have responsibilities. You know, people should take it upon themselves to stand up and say when something is not morally acceptable within general standards of decency. Because if you don't, you allow that behaviour to some to consider it to be okay. And this T-shirt's not okay. And I'm talking about on an ethical and moral level, the legality of it, the legal aspect of it, I'm not really commenting on. I don't pretend to be an expert on the law on that particular issue. Nor am I the police force. It's not for me to respond on that. If Mark Smith wants to report it to the police, that's his decision. And how the police deal with it isn't directly anything to do with me. You seem to be wanting me to be some sort of police force about how I would deal with it. Some people could construe that it's inciting violence. Yes. Or it's at least inciting hatred. It may constitute a hate crime, but I don't know. I don't know. That's right. There are laws about certain activity. You don't. I'm not saying this comes under it, but as the saint says, you don't have the right to incite serious crime, to incite hate crime, to incite violence. Whether this T-shirt fits into that, I don't know. It's not for me to judge. My point is that it's ethically and morally unacceptable, completely unacceptable. You don't think it incites violence, you just think it's trashy. Okay, yeah. But there might be other people, Soul, who follow GS Simon, who watch that video or see that video at some point. They might interpret it to think that it does incite violence. People interpret things in different ways. And on that legal aspect, that would be for the police to decide how they want to deal with it if it was reported to them. And it would be for a court to decide what it represents and doesn't. And I'm suggesting that if that T-shirt ever did end up being discussed in a court of law, I very seriously doubt that it could be defended that it doesn't depict wanting someone to be dead. Because that's, to me, that is the clear implication. I mean, I would struggle to think how that T-shirt doesn't represent criminal harassment. And given the means that's been used online to advertise it in some way and promote it, there's rules relating to that about communication and miscommunication that it could come under. But I don't want to get in the ins and outs of all the legal aspects of it. I don't pretend to be an expert on that. Sol says it didn't have his loved one on it. It was just crass. Yes, but suppose Mark has got a partner or spouse or a father or a mother or a sibling, and they see that T-shirt. It's their son, isn't it? It's their loved one. How do you think they feel? How do you think one of his children feels if they ever found out about that T-shirt depicting their father, that someone effectively celebrates the fact that he's dead, being put into a coffin? Because that's what the T-shirt is depicting and implying. How would you feel if you saw a T-shirt made of one of your loved ones about that? Elizabeth says that if it was her name on such a T-shirt, she'd take it as a threat against her life. You see, so someone says that they have interpreted it that way. Not only do they interpret it as an incitement of violence, but they treat it as a death threat. People can make their own interpretation on it. But I'm making the argument that on an ethical or moral level, it's completely out of order and that it's sick and that it's disgusting. And that anyone who thinks that that t-shirt's okay or wishes to support it or buy it or promote it or endorse it or make it or sell it or distribute it or wishes to support channels or people who do any of those things are arguably just as bad on a moral level. And it's just well beyond what is acceptable behaviour on a moral basis. I'm not getting into the legalities of it. And it may well be an issue of sub judice. Maybe Mark Smith has informed the police. Maybe the police aren't investigating it already. Maybe the Crime Prosecution Service, the CPS, maybe there'll be some point in the future where they look at it and they decide whether they want to pursue a legal case on it on some sort of legal grounds. I'm just speculating hypothetically. There may be a point at which it becomes sub judice. My argument, though, isn't about the legal aspect, it's about the moral and ethical issue. And if it does become sub judice at some point, then I would have to moderate what I say about it. As far as I know at the moment, it's not the subject of sub judice. Elizabeth says the t-shirt's vile, and anyone who wears it is vile. I suspect that there'll be many people who share similar sentiment. And yet, after this video that Simon put up, just to be clear, this was a video that Simon made about a week ago. You can find it on his archive unless he's deleted it or it's been deleted. It's quite near the start of the video. He takes his jumper off, and then he shows 3 t-shirts under one another. And the t-shirt that I'm referring is the one that was the third one that he showed. So if you want to go back to Simon's GS Paranormal's channel to see what's being referred to, you can, assuming it's still there. But I'm not showing an image of it, for one reason at least, which is that if I showed an image of it as a screenshot on my video, then someone may try to make a bogus copyright claim against this video, and I'm not going to allow them the benefit of doing that, even if it was a groundless claim. I'm not going to give them the chance to do so, so I've merely described it. So if you want to go and see it, you can do, if you want to see it. And if you want to compare the t-shirt to my description of it that I've given, I think I gave it quite an accurate description earlier on. Some people may not want to see it. I'm not suggesting that they should. Just to make that clear. Some people may not want to see it. Some people may find it so offensive that they could react to it in a bad way. They may not want to see it. Sol says, at the football, players get called all sorts. And I'm not talking about racism, which is foul, but I could get offended by the comments if I chose to. I think GS is operating like he is on the terrace. Yes, but there's certain things that you say in a football ground, even regardless of racism, where the police could arrest you for it, depending on what it was. I think so. Are you trying to make the argument that it fits within the grounds of freedom of expression, and that makes it and it's okay? But the society is governed by law. And you were talking about an instance in a stadium, and I was suggesting to you what would occur in a stadium, which is what you're asking me. If you shouted out in a football stadium or wherever else a certain comment of a certain kind, then you might get arrested by the police. You might get charged, depending on what it was. You can't go into a football stadium and say anything you want. Racism isn't the only thing you're not allowed to do in a football stadium. What is it you think that you're saying? That you think it's within the realms of allowable freedom of speech, freedom of expression? I mean, the T-shirt is essentially saying that you like the idea of that person being dead. If you were to shout it out and say that instead, what do you think would happen? Do you think that fits within the grounds of freedom of expression and freedom of speech, and not a criminal issue? Because yes, there's rights of freedom of expression, but there's also criminal law and civil law that come into play as well. You're asking me to comment on a real world scenario, so it's kind of difficult not to get in the realms of where the law stands and what might occur. You're asking me to speculate on a real. What I would suggest to you that is no large company would ever make such a T-shirt, and no retailer would ever stock such a T-shirt because of the reputational damage that would occur. But in this instance, if it's been made by just a private individual who then distributes or sells them to a relatively small number of people, that aspect doesn't kind of get into it. I'm not saying that excuses it. I'm just saying that if it was a business issue of someone doing it as their main business, they wouldn't want to make the T-shirt because the reputational damage would be so huge. Freedom of expression, although it's bad taste. Yes, but where does bad taste end and criminal violations occur? This is the issue, isn't it? I'm not a legal expert on that exact issue. What I would suggest, Sol, is that maybe you want to do some research into it, because I can't give you the answer that you seem to be wanting. And that you see if you can find out any other similar cases and whether there were any prosecutions for anything that is similar in some way and what occurred. Sex Pistols had good T-shirts, but they're bad taste. Yeah, but bad taste is a spectrum. There's a spectrum of bad taste. For example, say someone had a T-shirt and it had an image of someone putting up a middle finger. You could argue that's bad taste, but I would suggest to you that it's not as bad taste as the T-shirt that I've been discussing. I'm saying that it's worse than bad taste. Sol says you took the T-shirt to mean that the channel was dead. No, but that's the whole. I've addressed that, Sol. If you look at the T-shirt, it says at the top PXTV in red letters in one font, And then lower down, where the body and the coffin are, it says R.I.P. Mark Smith in a different colour and in a different type of font or typeface. So I don't think there's any ambiguity that it says R.I.P. Mark Smith, because they're in a different colour and typeface to the top. They're in lowercase, and I think it's in a different typeface as well, whereas the PXTV is in red and bold capitals. And the RIP and Mark Smith are close, proximate to one another, not anywhere near the PXTV, and the words appear next to the body and the coffin. And as far as GS Paranormal Simon was concerned, he actually described it in saying, "This is Mark Smith," and it said, and he actually said, "RIP Mark Smith." If the issue is about RIP PXTV, why does it even mention the word Mark Smith? Who decides what's bad taste? Well, ultimately, a court might decide whether this T-shirt is bad taste or not, mightn't they? If the CPS were involved and they decided they wanted to prosecute it, I have no idea. I've already said I don't know where this fits into the law in that regard. But if you're asking me who decides, a court of law would decide, ultimately, wouldn't they? A court of law, the debate would be, is this merely freedom of expression, but maybe bad taste? Or does it go beyond that and represent something that is in some way criminal? That would be for a court to decide. And that would be presumably what the arguments would be about in the terms of the case. It might well be that the barrister or legal team of the defendant might advise them that the best thing to do would be not to dispute the case and accept. Sol says, "But I never thought it meant to kill him. I thought it was about the channel. You took it to be about MS. It's subjective. By the way, you haven't seen the vid, just the t-shirt. Well, I've explained why, in my view, in my interpretation, I don't think it means the channel. I think it means the person. I've already just gone over it, so I've just gone over that again. If people want to have a different interpretation, that's up to them. But I've told you what my interpretation is, and I'm suggesting, I'm proposing that any reasonable person seeing that T-shirt would actually interpret it in the same way. It doesn't say PXTV RIP. The way, because of where the wording is and how it's spread on the T-shirt and the different font that's used, it does say RIP Mark Smith. If it's just about the channel, why even bother mentioning Mark Smith? It shows a humanoid figure, and the name Mark Smith appears below it. Bewitched says that at one point she too thought it was RIP PXTV, but her error has been pointed out to me, and to me the two are worlds apart. Sol says it's just your opinion, and I have the opinion they don't have to be the same. That's clearly I'm expressing my opinion. My opinion is that is what the T-shirt depicts, and regardless of whether it was intended that way by the creator, that's how someone would interpret it, because that's how it is presented. That's what I'm suggesting. And that morally and ethically it is disgusting, and that anyone who thinks that it's okay, it's worse than bad taste. It's at least, at best, it's extremely bad taste. At worst, well, I'm not going to speculate on that because it could be a legal issue. I mean, Simon did actually say, "This is Mark Smith." It being the body that's wrapped up, he'd said that is Mark Smith, and the body's being placed into a coffin by 3 skeletons. So there's no doubt that the figure that's depicted is presented as being a figure that's dead, a humanoid figure, and the word Mark Smith and Mark Smith's name appears below it. And the RIP doesn't appear near the PXTV. The RIP is net down where the name Mark Smith is, and it's in the same font as the Mark Smith, and the same colour and the same typeface as the Mark Smith, not in the same as the PXTV. So maybe you want to have a look at it again. Yeah, we're expressing opinions. I'm allowing you to express your opinion now. We're having a discussion about it. We're having a debate about it. And I'm saying that maybe we don't see it in exactly the same way. That's your prerogative. But I'm saying that the people who think that it's funny Pete Jones says Simon also said about PXTV being dead. Not maybe he did, but I'm talking about the T-shirt. That is not how the T-shirt is presented. And he chose to wear it, and he chose to promote it and endorse it, and said that he was proud to wear it. Well, people will make their own judgment about him, won't they? I've given my opinion. People can come to their own judgment about it. In my view, it was disgusting and immoral. And because of that, anyone connected to his channel is banned from mine. That's my opinion. And they may not care a jot whether they're banned from my channel or not. I don't care. They're not welcome on my channel. And I'm standing up and I'm saying it. I mean, I've given you the opportunity, Sol, to make your point. I don't think I haven't tried to censor you in any way. I've just responded to the things that you've said, and we've had a dialogue about it. It seems that we don't agree on it. I'm just expressing my opinion. If someone wants to form a different opinion or a different conclusion, that's up to them. But if they see it in the same way that Simon does, they're not welcome on my channel. And I think that it's disgusting. It's morally and ethically disgusting and sick. And if the people who think that that is acceptable, their morals are low grade. So I suggest, you've said a lot, I suggest you look at the video. You've said a lot, Sol. I would suggest that you benefit from watching the video and not just seeing the image. Although the image speaks on itself anyway. This T-shirt itself speaks for itself. But I would also suggest that you look at the video, because it's also about how Simon describes and refers to it, and how he reacts to it is also an aspect. And also an aspect of how the people in his channel chat room responded to it as well. Some of who, when he showed that particular T-shirt, thought it was hilarious. And I'm saying I don't want to be associated with those people. And that's why, on top of everything else that's happened in relation to me from that channel, I would not want to go back on that channel, as I stated earlier on in the video. What I would say so is let's see what transpires. Will Mark Smith go to the police? Will the police take it seriously? Will they investigate it? I'm just speculating. Will the police investigate it? Will the police talk to the CPS? I don't know. This is all speculation. I don't know. You've asked me who decides. Ultimately, it will be a court of law that would decide if that goes to that extent. You've asked me who decides. That's how that's how law is interpreted. Ultimately, law is interpreted in a court. Before that would occur, of course, the police would have to treat it seriously if that was appropriate, and the CPS would have to make a decision about whether they wanted to prosecute it. I'm just hypothesizing. I don't know. I'm not a policeman. I'm not a legal expert on such an issue. I'm not a member of the CPS. I'm not a judge. I'm not a barrister. You seem to be wanting me to speculate on things that I don't purport to have an expert on. Maybe seek legal advice from a barrister about what their opinion of it is. But I'm happy to engage in a conversation and debate about it. But it's because it's a good, what we're having here is an exchange of views. So I appreciate that, all those people who've expressed the views. And Sol and I have, we've had a decent dialogue to and fro about what each other have said. And by doing that, we were able to touch on different aspects of the case and more broadly and generally. And so it's by talking and having a dialogue about things where certain issues and aspects of the case can be discussed and thought about. People can continue this debate and express their views in the video comments when the video's saved. And provided they're prepared to do so in a decent manner, I'll let them do so. If you want to discuss this issue anywhere else, that's entirely your prerogative. But just to remind GS Simon, I gave you those two offers or challenges earlier. I went through them both. If you want to take me up on either of them, you can email me. And as I said, £1,000 bet that your IQ is not higher than my IQ. Because you love to keep on saying that you're far more intelligent than me. Well, put up or shut, and that you'll rip me apart in some sort of debate of some kind. I assume is what you mean by that you'd rip me apart. I assume you don't mean that that's not a threat of violence. I take it you mean that figuratively. And I've given you the offer, so it's the one-time offer. If you want to engage in some kind of intellectual debate of some kind, or I'm not quite sure what it is that you meant, you'd have to let me know. And I reinforce the warnings and forewarnings that I've given in this video to people who are engaged in certain sort of behaviour and conduct towards me that constitutes criminal harassment, and that I know it does, and that if it occurs again, I will go to the police. And that also applies potentially to Simon. if he was to do certain things. So I'm just forewarning him to be very careful. That's not a threat of violence. That's to be, I'm saying, very, very careful what you do, because if you did do something, I would go to the police, just to be clear, because I know some people like to twist things. As I've said before, I have no interest in ever meeting Simon, and generally I have no interest in engaging with him at all. But I'm giving a one-time offer. If he wants to have a head-to-head debate about something to rip me apart, let's see if we can organise something online. I went through that earlier. And if he's not prepared to take me on either of those challenges, then people can make their own deductions about the merits of his argument that he's either A, more intelligent than me, or B, that he'd rip me apart, as he commonly likes to say. He's not the sort of person that I really want to have anything to do with. But I suggest that the challenges that I've put to him may make him shut up. You know, let's have a £1,000 bet. Put your money where your mouth is. Okay, I'm going to end the chat now. Thank you for everyone who's watched or watches this on replay. Thank you for anyone who's engaged. I'll end the chat now, and goodbye for tonight.